But the backstory that's interesting is when he was in Seattle last year, the same person called him some words, and he filed a complaint to have the guy removed from the stadium. So it's crazy to me that this same guy shows up again and does that. And what's even, sick people. But for me, the fact that you knew that was the same guy who did that before, and you go over there, I'm sorry, I'm not giving up $45.5 million.
Welcome to another edition of News Anchor 8's News Bloopers.
It sounds like somebody's season.
Man, I'm telling you, from a production standpoint, that was crazy, but I am definitely, oh my goodness, I can't even find my, about upgrading software and then finding out you don't know how to use it. Figuring out that it was all me. But anyway, welcome everyone to another edition of No Jazz Show, NOJASS, not just another sports show. Now watch how good KD is as he's going to fumble and pick that thing up and run it in for a touchdown by the end of this episode. Shout out to me because watch how I do this. Now, I just want to wish everyone for this Christmas episode, Merry Christmas New Year. We are having a wonderful time this holiday season, and I hope you and yours are having a wonderful time this holiday season. And please, if you can just look around the borders of our show, because that's what it was. We were out here trying to get holiday festive and trying to get pretty. We did all the aesthetics and forgot all about the audio and the video and all that other good stuff going on. But we want you to like and subscribe and make sure you join us live on YouTube at NOJASSSHOW. Make sure you join us live on Facebook at NOJASSSHOW. That's our Facebook page. Also on the Locker Room page. Live also on my personal page, DUPONTNIVEK. Also on Tank's page. And I'm telling you to go to his page. Let me introduce you to my right-hand man, left-hand man on your side, Tank. Give the people a hello, Tank.
Merry Christmas, people. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Now, finishing up, we are live on Twitch, and we got some stories about Twitch coming up. Live on Twitch at No Jazz Show GMP Media. We are also live on TikTok right now at the No Jazz Show, NOJASSSHOW. And please like, subscribe, follow, and share. Email us at NOJASSHOW@gmail.com. All right, because the email for some reason, somebody picked up No Jazz with the extra H. So now, we got to make sure that's straight. We are festive in the spirit. And before we begin, we definitely want to give a shout out to the people that pay the bills around here. And we want to make sure you always go to, especially this holiday season, after you eat your food, because a lot of y'all gonna be doing it tonight before you eat that holiday grub tomorrow. We understand how it goes, and how and this Christmas season fall is kind of funny because you got Wednesday, Christmas Eve, Thursday, Christmas. So Friday you're gonna get fat again on that fast food because you're gonna be tired of that starchy food from Thursday, just like you were Thanksgiving. But at any rate, tonight, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, make sure you order all of those delicious to-go meals because you're gonna be tired of cooking. You're gonna be tired of going to that grocery store. And make sure you order from Light Snack, LYTESNACK, lightsnack.com for all of your breakfast, lunch, dinner delivery needs. And while you all sitting in, that woman ain't gonna want to cook no more. You done bought her that nice outfit from quickvisits.com. Y'all gonna enjoy yourself tonight, this weekend. So make sure you visit Quick Visit and get that outfit. In the words of my man Dream, let me fix your hair. So when you mess her hair up tonight, and she happy about that car you bought her and all them gifts you bought her, you gonna go get her some of that virgin Brazilian hair to do it all over again. And she paid to look good for you to do that. Also, let me bring this back. Let me bring this back. I'm bring this back and Quick Visit back. We got. I'm showing this for the seasonal boyfriends. We got the dudes out here. There's some dudes out here that do it. We know you. There's some dudes out here that break up with you on the 23rd. These your dates. They with you. They deal with you all the way up to December 23rd. Then they get back with you again probably around January 2nd because you want some new stuff and you want to bring in the new year and it's a new you and you don't want to make that the first person you kiss that night and all that good stuff going on New Year's. But around January 2nd, you feel lonely. And so January 2nd to about February 12th.
13th. Yeah.
13th. It's good. And then February 14th is bad. So here's what I'm telling you to do. Get your hair done as much as possible between those days and get that Virginia. Don't let him mess you up, girl. This for all the side chicks too. Don't let him get you wrong. Don't let him get you wrong. Now, we got to start this show. I'm gonna start this show with something called Eliminated. We just gonna get them out the way. You know what I'm saying? We gonna get them out the way. This segment of the show is called, let me get it right, Eliminated. So basically, when I talk to you, this is our last time talking about you. Your name. If I say your name,
leave you in the past.
We're gonna leave you in the past. I don't care what you got to play for. I don't care what type of momentum speech you got to give in the locker room tomorrow and this weekend about the fact that it's the last game and you're a professional and all that good stuff. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. So, if I call your name, be seated in the back.
Way in the back.
First name I'm going to call. Without further ado, Dallas Cowboys. Go sit your in the back. Bye.
On the couch and get ready to go fishing.
Get ready to go fishing. Them Cincinnati Bengals. Bye. Eliminated. Bye. Detroit Lions out of it.
They hanging on by a thread.
Colts out of it.
Thread. The Colts are hanging on by a thread.
Ain't on by a thread. Okay, we ain't gonna. Hey, y'all might be out of there. Y'all might be out of there on 2. But yeah, let's get
they like Bon Jovi. They living on a prayer.
Living on a prayer. Living on a prayer. Them New Orleans Saints. No voodoo this year. Get gone. Tennessee.
See ya.
Hey, 10. See ya. Like you said. Miami Dolphins, them sardines. Peace out. Matter of fact, y'all are close to one to be going fishing. Somebody might be fishing for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get out of here. And we already know y'all been catching flights. Y'all been catching flights out of here on the departure ticket since the beginning of the season. Them New York Jets. Bye. And you know what? You know where y'all going to vacation this year? Las Vegas. And hang out with the Raiders because they gone too.
Because they gone.
They gone too. They are out of there. We're going to say bye to them New York Giants. Bye. The New York Little Giants. Bye. See you later. Now watch the Redskins. Oh, excuse me.
The Commanders.
The Redskins might have made it in the playoffs. The Commanders. Bye.
Bye.
See you later. You're out of there. Hey, I don't care how hot his hashtag is. He can't save you. Cleveland, get gone. Get gone. Let the doorknob hit you with a new stadium about to split you. Happy for you. Hold on.
Speaking of new stadium.
Yeah, speaking of new stadium, but before we get there, and I know I ain't let him talk. We're gonna do this though. Tank did ask me earlier what the weather was like. And just like I posted, this Christmas is gonna be top down. As they say in rap, we're gonna let the titties out. And the sunroof gonna be back with a trike suit on for Christmas. And you know who gonna be hanging out? You know who gonna be hanging out with us on Christmas Day with nothing to do? This weekend?
Falcons.
Them Falcons.
Falcons.
Them Falcons going on. Going on. Then it's hard to talk bad about them because, you know, these two are the reason. Well, we out here on our own, but you know, I don't want to put nothing on nobody, but I don't want to take nothing away from anybody. But they out here too. Arizona Cardinals and the Minnesota Vikings, JJ McCarthy out here looking like JJ Fad Supersonic.
Yeah, he hurt again.
And then he hurt. But
again,
you're out and decide to be hurt once he play. You're out of there. Eliminated. And for the final elimination, they've been gone, but it's a surprise. And I left them for last because I do believe their elimination is a little different than the others. It's been a long run. They might need a break and just, you know, reload. And I do believe that they'll be able to do it. Kansas City Chiefs.
You are eliminated.
You are eliminated. You might well tell your boy to paint the field and leave the eye out of there and just call you the Kansas City Chiefs, just like the commercial did, because you're cooked. You're done. Now, we are only going to be focusing for the rest of the year on teams that have, there are going to be some discussions, but we're really only going to be focusing on teams that have shown us why we watch the NFL. And I set all that up to say, I don't want to hear nothing about your stats. They don't matter. This is a league, matter of fact, all sports league. If championships didn't matter, they wouldn't have tournaments leading to a championship if they didn't matter. So if you want to be that type of fan, that's from the participation award generation, and you want to focus in on what one side of the ball didn't do, while the other side of the ball was doing something that one man can't do it all by himself, you can go on vacation with them too. Because you're tired and you're weak. I'm so sick of that. Don't stat me to death. Don't stat me to death.
Stats are generally just good when you're winning.
Stats are generally just good when you're winning. Now, we're going to get to that. But let's get to our first topic. Now that we done gained through the elimination, we are going to talk about the upcoming week or what happened last week. Because there ain't but one game that in the college football playoffs that matter to me.
You know, y'all did y'all thing. You did your thing.
What I mean? But I've been talking long enough. We about to talk about the CFP college football playoffs. Tank, tell me what you hoping to see. You know, I know you got some questions. You know, what happened to Tulane? Will that change the way that we look at the college football playoffs from here moving forward? Will it expand to 16? Do you think it needs to expand to 16? You know, just elaborate because I've done a lot of talking.
First, I'm looking. I'm looking. I looked at. It was a lot of football on that weekend. College and pro. You got college and pro going on the same day, so you're doing a lot of flipping back and forth. But fortunately, with the Miami game, you had that one. They took care of business. They did what they need to do in order to advance. But Tulane and James Madison is why we made the suggestion before they need to have an NIT version for college football, because those two games were, if they hadn't called the dogs off, it would have been worse. And had they been playing, just think, as bad as those games were, just think if they had been playing better teams.
Right.
What if James Madison had to play in Ohio State in the first round? What if Tulane had to play Texas A&M? There's no reason for those teams, but they don't. It's not basketball. They do not have a chance in hell to upset these teams, not with everything on the line. So hopefully, the committee next year will say, "Look, we tried it. We tried an experiment. It failed. It failed, but it also succeeded, and let people know there's a reason why you don't let these other guys in. Give it to the teams with the best record." So, but yeah, I couldn't even watch the entire game of any of them, because they weren't exciting. They were really just scrimmage games. The games really weren't exciting. I had to keep turning. I had to focus on the NFL because those games were lousy.
So
But
you're
I am
against,
looking for.
so you're against automatic bid because you won your conference.
I think you should get an automatic bid, because winning your conference has to account for something, and they don't need to expand it. I don't need to expand it, because if we expand to 14, somebody gonna be complaining about the 15th not making it. It's not basketball. We know a James Madison, Tulane, Texas El Paso, they aren't finna upset anybody. We know it. The committee knows it. Those teams know it. The head coach knows that he just hoping that they can put on a decent showing, so somebody might get scouted by the NFL, and hoping nobody gets hurt. And maybe somebody will say, well, they ain't gonna win much, but they did make the playoffs, so maybe I can enter into the portal and go there. But it's just bad, man. I mean, the talent level is such a, the gap is too wide, and nobody's going to start going to James Madison or Tulane saying, "Hey, we can turn this around and we can win a championship, national title." So I don't know. I think winning your conference should count for something, but at the same time, it's really an embarrassment and a waste of time. I mean, it gives those teams exposure, but do you really want to go into a fight when you know you have no chance?
Let me tell you, what you about to see on this episode is December 24th, 2025 episode. Because we get to the end of the year and we're always looking for something to go to next year. So I want the production team to make sure they tape and record everything when people start taking things from us and podcasts start taking ideas from us. I'm listening to what Tank's saying, and Tank is absolutely right. So it is time for, based on this subject, suggestions. And here's what I suggest. Don't expand the field. Expand the playoff weeks. You might roll over a little bit, and I don't think the NFL will care if they pushing into NBA All-Star Weekend. They don't care. They are the behemoth of American sports. They kill flies with an axe or kill mosquitoes with an axe. That's what they do. Both of them. They don't care. So, to Tank's point, here's the suggestion. You take those smaller schools, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what is it, about 4 of those conferences?
Yeah. Yeah,
4
take
of them,
4
right?
up and you can combine them. Yeah, 4.
You combine them. Right. All right. Best records. Average. Now we playing a game here. If you got 4 conferences, 4 of those teams because all 4 of those teams are out now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Of those 4 teams, there are going to be 2 spots, baby. And here are your spots. Overall conference record of the 4 needs to be better than, need to be a top 2. Those top 2 conferences on average, win margin and everything. There are computers that can do it. Then we're going to take the top 2 of those least competitive conferences, and you're going to have a wild card weekend to see who plays a 12 or 13 outlier the next week. That 12 or 13 outlier would have been like you would meet the Miami or Alabama that year. Because if you're at, was 12?
Yeah, we got 12.
Okay, so if those 2 were like the 11 or 12 that got in, like you got voted in. If you were the Alabama or Miami or you wanted to be the Notre Dame of this year, the winner of the wild card of the weaker conference that gets beat like that plays Alabama. Not that they don't play them, but whoever that 11 or 12 is, right? You play that 11 or 12. And yes, you're going to be in a dogfight. And yes, you're going to play more games than everybody else in order to make it to the championship. But if you don't want to do that, win in the regular season. Go undefeated.
And have a stronger strength of schedule, because James Madison had the weakest strength of schedule out there.
Weaker strength of schedule by virtue of their conference. So they wouldn't have made it over one of the other 3. So we take those 2, we play the wild card, and the winner of the wild card has to meet that seed the next week, and then the tournament begins.
Yeah,
but you got to play that extra game.
You got to play your way in.
You play your way in because your conference is weaker.
Yeah,
that's just it.
Because neither one of those teams would have beaten Bama or Oklahoma either.
All we're saying is you're gonna get slapped anyway. So don't go through the whole conference losing. You might win your little wild card round and then get slapped the next round. So then you start traveling as you go. And it extends it maybe a week or 2. Because that's still a bye week for the top 2 seeds. And you move forward.
And it's going to generate money because those teams, they will travel. So,
and those teams, they will travel, and you have more than likely, for instance, let's say Notre Dame would have got in, but we'll just use Miami and Alabama because those are the last 2 spots. Since we're just gonna stay realistic what we got. Miami would get that home game before they travel, or Alabama would have gotten that home game before they travel, and you play that 11th seed home. The 12th seed still got to go play whomever, or you could have those 4 teams, just the extra week. You can have those 4 teams have a seeding in that little NIT type thing, and both of those teams meet in those smaller conferences to then go play an 11 or 12 and then move on to the tournament. No matter what, those teams don't need to be playing those teams because until a week down in the playoffs, because the competitive separation is considerably large. But here's the kicker. One of those years, you're going to find that team with all those seniors.
It's going to give somebody a battle.
It's going to give somebody a battle, and you're going to, and I'm not saying that can't happen now, but for the most part, even where it is now, a team full of sophomores and juniors, the level of athlete is still, in the depth is just too massive, for that to happen. But that's my suggestion to alleviate that from happening, or they have some kind of we can do what you said, and then the bottom 2 are the top 2 in the NIT.
Yeah, because really, we don't want to see people getting just dog walked every year because they have no chance of winning. That's just like if you bring in who was it? Was it Delaware State? No, Delaware State came in second in the MEAC. That's like bringing them in and saying, "Hey, we're gonna let y'all play Miami, but we're gonna let y'all play Bama." You already know what's gonna happen. So don't. I mean, you really just setting those guys up to get dragged, get dog walked, get embarrassed because they aren't good enough. There's a reason why, and this is not talking down to on these players because it takes a lot to get there. So we're not taking anything away from them as far as being good players or whatnot for where they are. But there's a reason why you're at Tulane or James Madison and you're not at Ohio State, you're not at Georgia. There's a reason.
And football is a little. Football is no, it's not even a little. It's quite different than basketball.
Right.
When a Cinderella makes it to the tournament and can travel, they're expected to get beat, but football is a totally different monster from a depth perspective and interior lineman perspective. And people can say, well, basketball has big men, bigger than absolutely. It's still like those big men playing fundamental can meet up with some athletes with some speed, and that one game can change things. All that speed you have in your interior lineman can't handle a bigger school with
and it is not just the physical ability. It's not just the physical ability and the skill position. It's the depth. Well, we're gonna let some of the fourth stringers get some run. Well, okay, the fourth string's coming in. Wait a minute, everybody on the fourth string was All American, was a All American, and was a 4 and 5 chip, 5-star athlete. What are we doing? You're not gonna beat them, not just because they're better man for man as far as starters, but the depth. Only reason I'm not starting is because the two guys in front of me were also 2-time parade All-Americans. And because I'm a freshman, I'm not getting playing time because there's a junior and a senior that's there who've paid their dues. So yeah, they need to scrap that. They need to come up with something else.
And also look at what this does in season. Those small schools will then start, not just from a monetary standpoint. Those smaller schools and smaller conferences will say, you know what? Let's start accepting some of these games, these bigger schools, because it helps our strength of schedule to make it in a tournament. Whereas the bigger schools who might use you as a tune-up are going to assess you a little bit and say, on the flip side, you don't help our strength of schedule, so we got to bash you in.
Right. We got to beat you the way we're supposed to.
We got to beat you the way we're supposed to.
We got to beat you like you Jake Paul.
Woo, that was a good analogy, boy. We're going to break both your jaws. Jaws 1 and Jaws 2.
You know how hard you have to get hit for your face to get broken, because that's literally what happened. You know how hard you have to hit a person with a glove, a padded glove, to break their face in 2 spots.
Shout out to Anthony Joshua who beat Jake Paul right before Dave Chappelle came out with his special on Netflix. But my thing is, and talked about Jake Johnson. Wow, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. But that's neither here nor there. My point is this, to what Tank is saying. Do you know how hard you want to break someone's jaw? You know how much you want to break someone's jaw? To break their jaw.
Yeah,
think about that for a second. It's
in
hard
2
to break a
places.
jaw.
Yeah.
So you must really want to break somebody's jaw.
Yeah, that's it. He found out, hey, there's no such thing as playing boxing. But when you get in there with somebody who is a real boxer and not somebody who was fighting in the backyard and all that, yeah, there's a different skill set.
And not someone 40, 50. You know,
That man face.
but hey,
Damn.
hey. At the end of the day, man. I know we talking football and then went to boxing, but at the end of the day, that is the picture that they wanted to see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's the picture they wanted to see. We got to give them that. You know, we got to give them that because it's almost like Jake Paul told Anthony Joshua, "Yeah, I want some some bonbons, some of them juju beans, and some of them gummy worms, and this
And
movie
now
right here
he
is gonna buy 'em."
yeah, now he's sipping it all through a straw.
Yeah, boy, he
But
broke that joke jaw. But anyway, that wasn't on the subject. We were just saying
it is parallel because you
to
got
beating
somebody
a
who's
smaller
got
team. Right,
who's got playing someone with no chance in hell to win unless
right.
you're doing
That's what
something
we're
you
getting
shouldn't
at.
be. Yeah.
That's what we're getting at. That was the whole point of that. So make sure you follow and subscribe on YouTube at NOJASSSHOW, and we're gonna move on to all right. We just going down the line, man. It's Christmas, man. We opening up gifts. All right, so I'm gonna ride it, man. I just said it was eliminated, but we're gonna talk about them. But no, it's a good subject to talk about, and I'm gonna tell
Okay.
you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Hold on. Before we go there, who do you have? Nah, that's too many days. I ain't gonna even worry about it. I was about to say who you got on the next round. I know who I got of college football.
We can do that next show before the
Yeah.
game.
We'll do that next show for another pep rally. But moving on, this subject right now is about the Detroit Lions. Did they? I got a real some insight on this one. Did they miss their window of opportunity to make a playoff run and possibly create themselves some level of a dynasty and by getting eliminated this season?
I think back to 2 years ago, because last year we know they had a rash of injuries. They had a rash of injuries this year and last year, so that affected them. But I think back to 2 seasons ago, after they lost in the playoffs, and Coach Campbell said, I told you guys to remember this, but you got to take advantage of your opportunities because there's a chance that we might not ever get back here again. And he sound he some people didn't like that he said it, but he was being a realist and he was also being prophetic because that same team was not there last year. It's not there this year, and it won't be there next year. The fact that Chicago has gotten better and is going to improve, the fact that Green Bay has gotten better and is going to improve, puts Detroit behind 8 ball. Plus, other teams in the conference are getting better also. I think they had a brief window, and I think that their window is shut for them because there's going to be an awful lot of overhauling that's going to need to take place in order for them to get where they want to go. I mean, they still got the good core players. They got some good players on offense, but the defense and they've got to get some more depth. I mean, they do. It's been a war of attrition for them because so many people get injured. But they've got to learn how to take advantage of those opportunities when they come. And I think we're gonna see flashes of what they were, but I think their window is closed. Not because they aren't any good, but because the opposition has gotten better. And if you stay where you are and the opposition is getting better, it catches up with you. So yeah, I don't think that they're gonna be in. They're gonna be fighting for third place in that division next year. And I mean the injuries have really did take a toll. But a lot of teams are hurt and have been missing players. But losing your two coordinators, that hurt them more than anything else. Losing your OC and DC, that hurt them more than anything else. But so yeah, I don't foresee them making a push next year. I think they'll still be competitive, but yeah, their window is closed.
We are opening up KD's suggestion gift box. Let y'all know now. This is what I'm doing today. I am about to be your host, and I'm just opening up the gift box. Tank talking. Tank gonna give expert analysis on everything. I'm being quiet because technically I have no room to talk. I'm just keeping it 1,000. But here's what I suggest. I know y'all might not want to hear this, but this also goes back to the participation award era of fans who love to do this type of stuff. NFL, I suggest you take a page from the NBA. And here's what I mean. NBA has the NBA Cup that happens, the first quarter of the season? It's not really half, because half is All-Star weekend. It's coming up. So it's not really half, it's like the first quarter of the season. Get that good start, get them going, make sure they on their job, make sure they're not playing 41. They playing 82. And I know every game in the NFL counts. However, every weekend counts. However, we do have this thing in the NFL where technically you get off to a good start. You can be all right if you're rolling in November or not rolling in November, because around late October, November, the season really, you start to see who's real and who's not anyway. So I think the NFL needs to adopt an NFL Cup. And what I mean, and the reason I say that is not for the reason of the NBA to keep you engaged. It's maybe Cleveland, Detroit, the Raiders, the Cowboys after 30 years, the Jets, Miami after 40-some years. Maybe they can get something going early in the season, and it's like a little tournament, and then some kind of way they meet up, play that extra game, or whoever got the best record, or whatever the case may be. Something to give them and their fan base something to look forward to for the remainder of the season, and also some level of a championship.
That's pacifying the fan base and those teams, because they know they aren't going to do a thing in it or a thing that count.
And my point in doing that pacification, because I'm not saying it's justified. You're absolutely right. We talking about 17 and getting to the tournament. My thing is, Detroit still going Detroit. Vegas still going Vegas. Cowboys still going Cowboy. Cleveland going Cleveland. Like, there is no window. They're lying. You're lying to yourself. You'll never have a window. The subject on Detroit having a window, up until now, we looking like Chicago might have a window. Chicago might be down again next year. There's no such thing as a window. You're not having one. Stop lying to yourself. How many teams have never won a championship?
Between 6 and 8.
Between 6 and 8. Then you start looking at that list of who's won since 2000. And it's like 12 of them, 13. The same teams winning. Having these little baby Chargers in it. Like, hey, keep them engaged some kind of way, man. Because
8 teams. Yeah, 8 teams having it. But out of those 8, some have gone multiple times.
But, out of those 8, some have gone multiple times to the Super Bowl. Absolutely.
Yeah, but those 8, you got 8 who hadn't done it.
NFL Cup. That's my suggestion, to keep in some way, form, or fashion, because somebody got to justify these tickets. Somebody got to justify, like, I'm sure these ticket costs, somebody need to justify overpaying market value for these wide receivers and quarterbacks, for whom at the end of the year all you're gonna do is stat them up, classify them up there with people who deserve it. Tired of it. They ain't got to get a ring. Just give them a bracelet, give them a little chain, give them a little locket, whatever. You know,
we were the best out of the worst teams. That's terrible.
We were the best out of the worst teams. Because there's an old adage in the NFL: they don't give away Lombardis in November. They don't. They really don't. Call that mid-season award the Belichick or
I don't think Belichick would be like, do not put my name on that
I know,
sorry
like
ass award.
Belichick or Walsh. Like it'll have to be somebody like, but who's the man for the Bills?
Marv Levy.
Marv Levy.
But that's like, no, man, you can't do that because that's like giving somebody a Razzie in the movies, giving you an award for being terrible.
Well, you want me to see?
No,
Hey,
nobody's
you
gonna want
started
their
out
name.
fast. You started out faster than everybody. Can you
Nobody's
keep
gonna
it going?
nobody's gonna want an award named after them that represents the epitome of you being the best of the worst.
No. Not,
But
you can end up you can win the Lombardi and that. You the best mid season, not the best of the worst. You the best mid season. You know, kind of like the Bucks used to be when they was
with Dilfer.
yeah, and Lehman.
Shout out to Lehman Bennett. That name will probably never be brought up in sports talk again unless you're located in Atlanta and you're talking about former head coaches.
What I said, Lehman Bennett.
Yeah.
You know, hey man, that's me. But now, okay, now moving along, you did mention Chicago. Did you want to know what's the limit for Caleb or what's the ceiling for Caleb? Because he balling out, and I'm gonna tell you something about Caleb, man. He cocky with it. Like he's very
He's growing.
confident.
He's growing into. I think he always had it, but now he's got some pelts on the wall. So when he does it, it's received differently than it would have been last year because he's putting some pelts on the wall now.
Right.
And
some pelts on the wall.
And he's got the opportunity to be the first and only quarterback in the history of the Chicago Bears to throw for 4,000 yards. He's not going to do it this year, but next year he'll probably do it. Because I was thinking about this the other day. So we're talking about Chicago. It's kind of veering, but right. No, I can think of no team that has a worse set of failures at two positions than the Bears. The Bears at quarterback through their history, because you got to go all the way back to Sid Luckman if you're gonna say where they won something with him. They won
When the
championships with
quarterback
him.
was doing something right.
Yeah, and even he played in the 50s, 40s. He's still their all-time leading passer in yardage and wide receiver. That franchise has had the worst set of quarterbacks and wide receivers in history. How can you year after decade after decade after generation fail at the same two positions? Caleb's ceiling is better and higher than anybody else they've ever had under center at this point. And it's not just his ability, but it's also because Ben Johnson is molding him. And I don't think it's a perfect match, but I do think that he's understanding what Ben Johnson wants him to do and how to do it. And Ben is understanding, okay, there's certain things that's gonna come with this guy that, hey, we just gotta live with it. So I think they're approaching a happy medium. And as long as they're winning, they'll both give a little bit, to keep it going because they do both want to win. So yeah, but I think he's got a high ceiling. I wasn't sold on him coming out of college. I wasn't. I think that he's got those guys where they'll believe in him. Yeah.
I got a question for you. I'm gonna name some names. I'm gonna say coming out of high school, most definitely Isaiah Thomas, of course Michael Jordan, Walter Payton, Andre Dawson, Frank Thomas. Pretty sure it's a hockey player in there somewhere.
Yeah, I think Mario Lemieux was highly touted. Oh no, Eric Lindros
in Chicago.
Oh, in Chicago. Well, I don't know about Chicago. Oh, you talking just in Chicago?
Cause like right now, I don't think there's anyone in Chicago that's the face of Chicago sports, and it's been a long time since the face of Chicago sports has been the Chicago Bears quarterback. And lightning can strike for that young man today if he can keep that up. And I wish that for I wish the 4,000 yard line. I wish that for Chicago, because I often ask myself, because Michael Jordan was transitioning into the man in Chicago, in the face of Chicago, when Walter was on his way out. Andre was kind of on his way out. Never became, Jordan was just too much. But I always ask myself, if there would have been simultaneously Walter and Michael happening at the same time, or Jim McMahon just would have been good, who would have been the biggest in Chicago?
I think it would still be Jordan, simply because there's championship.
He kept
They
winning multiples.
Yeah.
So
Nobody else got in it.
So Chicago is just one of them cities that probably just likes basketball more than football.
I think they love the Bears, but they just haven't given them anything to love in forever. And it's funny we're talking about this because I was in line today getting my winning lottery ticket, and there was this elderly gentleman
They playing tonight?
behind me. Yeah,
Oh,
Powerball
okay.
tonight. Yeah. So he but yeah, so no Jazz will be doing some big things after
We'll
I
have a
hit this
studio. We're gonna
1.7
have a
billion.
large CBS size facility, hosting all podcast shows. But go ahead.
Yeah. So he was talking, and there was another guy in there who had on some Bears paraphernalia, and he was like, I just can't wait. He said, nobody does a party and celebrates a Super Bowl like Chicago. I remember now. I'm saying, okay. I look back to see, guys. Okay, this is an old guy because he was talking like Chicago has multiple Super Bowls, which they don't. But he was saying nobody does it like. And I remember back when they won the Super Bowl in '85. Yeah, it's been a while. And I was like, yeah, it has been a while. But he was talking about how Chicago just loves the Bears. They love the team, and when they get to another one, and he was just saying he hope he's alive to see it. And he was saying this Caleb guy, I think he might be the one to take us because we haven't had a quarterback who could just consistently be good. And the other guy was saying, yeah, I hope he does because it's rough being a Bears fan because we really don't have anything to hang our hat on other than the '85 Bears. And I was like, yeah, you're right. You're in a similar boat as the Jets. They could have to still hang their hat on Joe Namath and the guarantee.
And kind of a similar boat, even though they hang their hat on one man to a degree, but they kind of in a similar boat as Miami hanging their hat on that undefeated season.
Yeah, and it was just funny, but yeah, and I know I've talked to people. I got a friend who's born and raised in Chicago, and he's like, man, we love the Bears. We love our running backs. We love our linebackers. And he always said that we ain't never had a quarterback worth a damn. And this year he's saying it. He's like, dang, I always say, you know what I always say about Chicago. But this year, we have a quarterback who's worth a damn. That we're actually winning games. We can do something now. Just when he talks about them now, he's always been a Bears fan, but when he talks about them now, there's like a pride and like a belief. He's always believed, but it's like, hey, look, my belief is rooted in something more than fandom. I got something tangible to have my belief placed in. It's
Right.
not just because I'm a Bears fan. So
Especially a QB-driven league.
yeah. So if the Bears win, not saying this year, but if they become consistent winners and ever get a ring while Caleb and Johnson are there, they will be deified in Chicago.
You only need one.
Yeah, they will be deified in Chicago.
Yeah. So which brings me to my next question. Since we on Caleb, is the NFL QB position in good hands for the future?
I think we're seeing a changing of the guard, and it is looking like with the teams that are going into the playoffs, particularly from the AFC, with the exception of Pittsburgh, if they go ahead and win this week and get in. Everybody else is a young gun. There's no, you take away Rodgers and yeah, I take him out of the equation as far as playoff experience because his came in the NFC. The only quarterback that has a good amount of playoff experience in the AFC is Josh Allen. And Josh is maybe 30 now, but you got all these young guys, young quarterbacks in the AFC particularly, who are battling it out to see who's next up, who's got next. And the NFC has got veterans, but I think they've got a few who are coming up as well. It's more of a mix. So I think the quarterback position is in good hands if the league stops. I just hate the way they just cater to them and they making sure that everything is giving them pristine conditions so they can do what they're doing. But I think it's in good hands. I just want to see, and it's because I'm old school, I'm a purist, and all this, that, and the other. And I know I just want to see quarterbacks being able to take the ball from under center again, because it irks me when I hear these quarterbacks coming in, and they're saying, "Hey, he's got to learn how to take the ball from under center." To me, it sounds asinine. Why wouldn't you be able to take the ball from under center? You just do it. But yeah, I think it's in good hands, and it's looking different, vastly different across the league now. You got mobile, you have more mobile quarterbacks who can sling it and they can run it, and you still got some throwbacks who are pocket passers and can get the job done, but they do need to have a wall in front of them. But yeah, I think it's in good hands. There's a lot of good young quarterbacks who are getting better and progressing every year. You got Bo Dix is coming along. May, he's a North Carolina quarterback who I've never believed in any, like, who do they have who's ever done anything, and he is looking good. So I think they're in a very good position. I think the quarterback position is in good hands.
I'm going to answer that question and put it back. What was the era of quarterbacks? Like, okay, Aaron Rodgers was peak.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Brees. Aaron Rodgers is like the beginning of the end of Drew Brees, Brady. Because Brady just lasted a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So Aaron Rodgers up in there with Romo as a young gunner. Still had Brees in there, but Brees was still more Rivers, Brady, Roethlisberger.
You still had Manning.
Still had Manning,
the
both
Manning,
Mannings.
Rivers.
Yeah,
you had a number of them, and most of those guys, all those guys have since retired.
All right. So I'm saying that to say and this is not taking anything away from the talent that Aaron Rodgers has, but they spawned Aaron Rodgers. Then Aaron Rodgers had an era. Tony Romo. I'm talking about when they were at their peak. I think Rivers is still in that other era. Phillip Rivers, even though he was still playing a long time. Aaron, Tony,
Drew Brees.
But Drew Brees was at the end now. Like Drew Brees,
him and Rodgers around the same.
Okay, they're around the same time. So we're gonna give him a little bit of Drew Brees. Stafford, and I'm glad I'm saying it's not that I'm forgetting. It's the fact that it's beginning to tail off. As you go, the generation, you don't even want to talk about the generation that came right before Roethlisberger, Brees, Rivers, first phase, Manning. My bad. I'm sorry. In that little phase, I'm gonna throw Stafford in a Cam Newton gets a name in there. But the second tier of that phase before that phase was like still McNabb, Vic, and all those people. So I'm saying, like, these are your highest paid quarterbacks. Now, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Tua Tagovailoa, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, Justin Herbert, and Lamar Jackson. And we know the king of all kings in there is still Patrick Mahomes. No. When I put that era up next to anyone, even Lamar Jackson with his running skills, I don't see where they're equal.
Yeah, They don't have hardware. They don't have hardware. But I think overall the position itself is in good hands because I think somebody's going to come up out of this. One or two is going to rise up out of this.
Not only, you know what? They don't have hardware, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the rivalry?
It was everybody's rival was Mahomes, really. Then him going down, somebody's got to take advantage of that this year, and it's going to be an asterisk for some folks. Well, the Chiefs were down. Mahomes didn't do it. Hey, I don't have anything to do with Mahomes and the Chiefs. I did what I need to do to get in. And this right here is when Allen, with his arguably his weakest offense that he's had, he's got to be Superman and at least get to a Super Bowl. Because
Big Ben even had, you know what, underachiever, but I don't think it was an underachiever. Cincinnati Bengals.
Carson Palmer.
He in there. So the competitive spirit still was a little bit better. So I'm saying,
yeah, Flacco was in there too.
Flacco in there. Flacco is your
and Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan.
Yeah, there was a lot of
the quiet MVP.
Quarterbacks.
The quiet MVP. And I just don't see because we didn't see Jameis Winston become Jameis Winston. Because he was supposed to kind of be a wave into that Rodgers. Let's get to we didn't see Tua become Tua. We didn't see Kyler Murray become Kyler Murray. I think and what I'm saying is if you did not put yourself in a position to say, hold on now, when I look at Manning, Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, I'm sure putting them. I'm putting them up there. I'm saying if they quarterback the teams, I'm putting them up there against Montana Marino. Who else was up in there playing for them ball? Montana Marino, missing something.
Elway. Yeah, but I think with these quarterbacks, particularly young ones, I'm talking about especially the past 3 years or whatnot, those are the ones that I'm expecting to rise up and do it. They can start forming rivalries. Yeah.
And I think what I'm saying is, I don't think their predecessors have put template up to where if I reach their plateau, like they're going to have to be trying to be Mahomes.
Yeah, all of them have to do that.
You're going to have to be. I might give you a little bit of Josh Allen.
Not till he got to get one of these first.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're going to have to focus and say, I'm trying to be Mahomes in order to, because if they're stuck on what Dak doing and thinking, okay, that's all it's going to take for me to get accolades. You know, like do you know what Donovan McNabb would be arguing if he was in this era with his same numbers?
Yeah, he would. But I'm thinking that he would probably be, because Donovan stopped running. I don't know if it was after he broke his ankle that game or if he had made a concentrated effort prior to that to stop using his legs the way he did. It Hurts is teetering. I think it Hurts is a crazy situation because he's surrounded by playmakers that he just has to facilitate the ball to. But at the same time, in the playoffs, he puts on a Superman cape because he has outplayed Mahomes in both Super Bowls. Came up short once, that fumble. That's like basically his only mistake in that one. So he's shown that he in the biggest moments that he can rise up and he can do something. But I think these newer guys like the past 3 years are who we're gonna be looking at saying that's who I'm talking about when I say I think it's in good hands.
I agree with who you're talking about. I'm just questioning who they're looking at, because if that's their template,
oh yeah, I don't think they're looking at it. I don't think they're looking at anybody other than Mahomes.
That good.
Yeah, they're looking at Mahomes, and because they were able to see him, they're looking at Mahomes and Brady. That's all you can look at. Nobody else was getting anything. I mean, you got
somebody got to be honed in on them, because if you're honed in on getting accolades, and being the highest paid QB. And well, look at what he did all them seasons at 6-12 and missing the playoffs and 2-5s. That's the template. If that's what you're taking into the next generation, and then the next generation looking at you taking that template, this thing diminishing fast.
Yeah. You got the bar is being lowered. If
Bar
you
being
aren't
lower.
if you aren't looking at greatness, and greatness, we're including championships in it. If that's not what you're looking at, yeah, the bar is being lowered.
I wonder how many people the age of 30 really believe, from a numerical standpoint, Josh Allen is better than Jim Kelly.
I think most of them are going to say he was, and the first thing they're going to do is say, look at his rushing numbers. Look at his numbers. Look at how many times he's thrown 30 touchdowns. That's what they're going to look. You know, that's what they're going to zoom in at instead of looking at the overall.
Because they zoom in on that when you start putting Dak up next to Troy Aikman. So if the younger generation is going to make that the template, I saw a meme that had, and I know I'm jumping to wide receivers. I saw a meme that had 2,000-yard wide receivers, George Pickens and CD Lamb.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah,
6 and 7. Like, are you putting yourself up next to Irvin and Harper because you don't have a 1,000-yard tandem? Like, if that's your template, it's the law of diminishing returns. Meaning the higher you get as far as your numbers are concerned, the lower the expectation you want as far as the team and wins is concerned. It's people out here thinking St. Brown and the other wide receiver better than Herman Moore and Johnny Morton.
Yeah, but that's also a product of thinking that fantasy football is real football. It's all stats, because you got people who watch the game, but they only watch and they talk about who's best based on stats and what they did on their fantasy team, not actually looking and seeing what's going on. And they, okay, is he really that? Okay, he's succeeding because they're scheming to get him open, or they're doing this, or they're doing that, or they're playing teams that have no answer for the type of for the offensive or defensive game plan that they have. And, you know, a lot of that is fantasy football. You know, it's called by fantasy football. Well, so and so had X number. People who are really into fantasy football but claim to be into football, they can quote you all the fantasy stats, but they don't look at and they can't relate that to the fact that he had these numbers, but his team was 4-13.
Straight. So to answer your question, personally, I think it's in bad hands.
Yeah, depending on the metric you use for them, as far as who they have.
Generation to generation, if they're not looking at the right person, it's going to be, if Caleb Williams don't step up and be cocky enough to want to outduel Patrick Mahomes year after year, or he sneaks in and puts Josh Allen on his behind in a Super Bowl or something. Shout out to the guys that are playing well, but if that's not in you to do that, and you're going to be celebratory over numbers, it's in bad hands, man.
Yeah, but I listened. This last thing, then we move on. I listened to Caleb, the interview with him, and they talked to him, and he's locked in on. He's trying to get championships. He wants championships. He's like, I'm not. Although, so we get the wins. That's good for the fans and stuff. He said, I'm trying to win. I need to win championships. So we'll see.
All right. So right now, we just want to let everybody know we moving to the hour 15-minute mark of the show. This is the Merry Christmas, baby edition of the No Jazz Show, NOJASS. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, share, chat with us. Email us, nojasshow@gmail.com. We are now in the chat on TikTok, Twitch, Riverside Live. Also, we are in the Facebook group, No Jazz Show, NOJASS. And we're on YouTube live at NOJASSSHOW. Moving into this next hour and, hour 15 and 45 more minutes to go. And hopefully I don't pass out. Because this reindeer games hat is hot. Is that velvet? Yeah.
Velvet and chinchilla fur.
Velvet and chinchilla. You know what I'm saying? So now, as we talk about quarterbacks, let's go to I'm saving your news. I'm saving your news because your news is going to end with a last word. But I'm gonna get it in there. We're gonna bam bam. Lamar Jackson has been questioned in regards to his not even off season, in season practices. As
Practice.
You know what? You're right.
You're talking about practice.
You know, and shout out to my people on Twitch because this has nothing to do with you, but it's funny. Coincidentally, it's about that. Lamar Jackson has been scrutinized playing video games late at night, not sleeping well, or just staying up late. And people are saying that he's getting to meetings late, getting to the facility late. People saying this is affecting his game. What do you think about this? And is this the reason why Lamar looks like he's breaking down?
I'm gonna start this whole everything that I say is based on taking this and assuming that these things are true. And I believe that there's some legs to this because the organization would not have allowed it to get out. Somebody's talking. Somebody in there is talking. But you look at the things he's done, you look at, and there's always been time. I think I sent you a text the other week, or it might have been another group chat. And I was saying Lamar isn't able to move around right now. And we're seeing his shortcomings as a quarterback because if we know his legs is what gives him that extra oomph. But your bottom line as a quarterback, you have to be able to beat people with your arm. You have to be able to make that transition. And quarterbacks who run around like that, their athleticism goes away. And if they can't get the job done with their mind and their arm, they're out there quick. It's all random.
Hold on. I gotta do what hold on. I gotta do what Cameron did to Michael Irvin when he said that they brought in Phillip Rivers because they wanted a smart quarterback and they didn't bring in Cam. You said mine. And I know you don't mean this, but I gotta ask. Are you saying Lamar? Are you saying Lamar's not a smart quarterback?
I'm not saying he's not.
On his athleticism?
His athleticism gives him that oomph. And what I'm saying is, as you get older, those things go away, and you have to be able to get it done with your arm and your mind, and not. Well, I got 4.2. I got 4.2 speed. That'll take care of me not going through all my progressions because I'm gonna go and get 10 yards. When you've seen him been injured 5 times this year alone, and remember before he got that new contract, there was talks about the fact that he had missed games the previous 2 years being hurt because the Ravens' whole approach was, if we're gonna pay you this much money, we need you out there 17 games, not 14 and 13. And we're gonna make this kind of commitment to you. That means you are going to have to carry the franchise. You're gonna have to carry the offense when we have some things lacking because we can't pay everybody if we're gonna pay you this kind of money. And that's the conundrum that a lot of these teams wind up with. They pay these quarterbacks all this money, and the quarterback got to put on their cape and be Superman every week because he doesn't have quality receivers, or he doesn't have that elite running back that he would have had if he had taken less. So yeah, I think that Lamar is, again, all this is based on what was said, what was reported. So let's say allegedly. But if there's problems with him going to sleep in team meetings, if there's problems with him being up late because he's playing video games, remember Kyler Murray had that clause in his contract initially. Look, man, get your monkey behind off of these video games and start studying the game plan.
Nothing to the people in the Twitch chat. We understand that that's a gaming and gamification site. We're not saying that. We're just talking about one individual.
Yeah.
That's probably on Twitch too much.
Yeah. And the fact that he is also, they say they start practices in the afternoon because that's when Lamar likes it, because he wants to sleep in or whatever, instead of coming in the morning. Yeah, that was also reported from this insider. Now,
hold on. See, you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? If you have, and I'm not saying he would have done this. I'm not saying he would have done this. But that would have been his veteran. If Shador would have been picked up by Baltimore and he's watching how Lamar conducts himself, and we ain't saying Lamar bad, we're just talking about as a professional in their facility, there's a possibility Shador would have taken on some of those traits. Oh, now that I've gotten to, and I ain't putting this on Shador, I'm just talking about the fact that he didn't do backup. The fact that he is watching this man do this, that's what he do. So when
he's a two-time MVP, and that's what he's doing. So I can do it too. That's what I need to do.
And the way you diminish that is we don't know when the next generation is going to feel the entitlement. Is he gonna feel the entitlement after a two-time MVP? Is he gonna feel the entitlement after a one-time MVP? Is he gonna feel the entitlement when he look around and ain't nobody me?
And my thing with Lamar, if all of this is true, did it just start occurring this year, or has this been going on all along?
I believe it's been going. I have never been one to believe that it hasn't been going on. I always believe it's been going on. It's just gotten to the point where
it's showing up on the field now.
What did Jimmy Johnson say? There are certain things I can overlook for certain players. Certain players get favoritism.
Yeah,
like you say they don't.
I treat everybody fairly, not equally.
Not equally. I treat everybody fairly, not equally. But when the unequal treatment that I've been giving you, when you're not giving it back to me on the field,
yeah,
all the reports of it are about to come out. So no, it didn't just become a problem. It's always been a problem, and he's spoiled. So now to him, like, oh, now it's a problem.
Yeah, it's like, look, man, the results that you've given us are not indicative of what, it doesn't line up. And remember, Lamar is in year number 8. He's not, and like I said, he hasn't shown the ability to play from the pocket this year when he's not able to run. People, well, the game changed. Look, when you are still playing, because you're out there, you're still playing, and you can't do certain things. You need to have it in your toolbox that you can do some other things to counteract what you can't do right now. Well, I can't throw it. I can't run the way I used to right now, but I can read defenses. I can throw it. I can zip it. I can win games with my arm. And the reason I point that out is when Randall Cunningham was in this twilight, when he was in Minnesota, he wasn't running. We don't know Randall was a soaring eagle in his heyday. But you saw he stood tall in the pocket, and he was slinging the rock all over the place.
Randall said, I got a possession receiver, probably one of the best possession receivers ever, and I got one of the best go routes, rookies, second-year players ever. I'm finna hang, and I can still hang this thing 80 on a dot.
When he say throw it up, dog, that's what I'm gonna do. And he did that. And that was his best year passing the ball. And he was in his mid-30s by then. Lamar, if he'd been working on his craft the way he needed to, and I say the way he needed to, and it's reflective in how he was playing this year, being hurt, how ineffective he was. If he had been working on that, he would have still been able to make plays with his arm to his tight end and to his receivers. So yeah, I think Lamar might be at a crossroads, and Harbaugh also might be at a crossroads because who you gonna listen to if they're butting heads and ownership is like, hey, we can't get this solved. Who's gonna go? Is Lamar gonna go or is Harbaugh
Lamar
gonna go?
going. Lamar gonna go.
Do you think they will let Lamar go instead of Harbaugh?
I'm gonna tell you like this: they literally chose Belichick over Brady, and Brady was bringing ships.
Yeah, different management group though, different. But there was also a lot of friction with Belichick too.
Well, this is
And
what's
Brady,
gonna start when it begins to be him or me. That's the friction gonna start to, and that friction comes up, but that's good friction. Their friction was who's responsible for this.
Yeah. And now their friction is going to be who's responsible for this. And it's not who's responsible for rings. It's who's responsible for why we can't get it done in the postseason. So, yeah. So, yeah, Baltimore is going to, if these things are true about what Lamar is doing, yeah. And I would like to know when this began. And was it still going on when Ozzie Newsome was there? Because I have a feeling that if Ozzie was there, some of this stuff would be happening.
Right. I agree with that. You think you could see some kind of crazy big trade between them in Miami?
I could see him being fine with going back to Florida because he's a Florida boy. I'm sure Lamar would be like, man, I love to be back home. Yeah, and he would be. I think Lamar would be like, Lamar is not going to be like Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis is a Florida boy, but he stayed in Baltimore after he retired. Lamar probably don't stay in Baltimore except during the season. After that, he brought it down there where it's nice and warm.
And trouble didn't find. He hadn't found it down there to find trouble like Ray, even though that was in Atlanta. It's just you kind of separate yourself, and that's how you do that. Now your team. No. Before we go there, kind of close. We're going to the NFC North. Does Miles Garrett get the record?
I had a friend a couple weeks ago, probably 4 weeks ago, he's told me, man, Miles is going to end up with 26, 27 sacks, man. And I said, if he breaks the record, it'll probably be by one, possibly two. I said he ends up with 23 and a half sacks. Now he's on pace for that. He's had 4 sacks the past 4 games, which is great. But the pace he had been on, and
he was supposed to get 26.
Yeah. I don't think, let's put it this way. He's going to have to work for that sack this week because he's on his way to setting a record. And he's doing it against a former Green Bay Packer quarterback. Of course, now Rodgers is playing with the Steelers. And we know previously when that record was set, there was a Green Bay Packer quarterback by the name of Brett Favre who did Strahan a solid and gave him that sack. Rodgers ain't doing that. Rodgers is going to let him know, you're not getting that sack on me today. You're not getting the record on me.
Question.
I think that he might get it in the last game.
How old was Favre when he did that?
He's in his 30s.
So he was still young when Strahan.
Yeah, he was in his 30s.
He didn't give him old man grace. So.
Right.
I was thinking Rodgers may give him old man grace.
No, he ain't doing that. Because if you get that sack on me, every time they bring up that damn record, every time when you get inducted to the Hall of Fame, when they say Miles Garrett single season sack record holder, they're going to show him sacking Rodgers. I don't want that.
How many games left?
2.
2 games. This weekend
and next weekend.
Right?
Yeah. And I think he needs 1.
To break the record?
To get the record. He's got 20. The record's 22 and a half. He's got 22.
Who does he play last?
Because he got a half sack. Can't remember who they played last. But they play Pittsburgh this week. No, nobody. He's going to really have it hard as far as these offensive linemen trying to make sure that he doesn't get the record. Because nobody wants a record broken on them. Hey, that's great. You broke the record.
The NFL make the phone call. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, but I don't want the record broken on me. Not on my watch. You're not breaking the record. So I think that he's going to get it in the last game. I don't think he gets it this week. I think there's a concentrated effort to win the game and also to make sure that Miles doesn't get it.
So you don't think that the Bengals gonna have a concentrated effort to make sure he don't get it either?
It's the Bengals, man. That's why I said he'll get it against Cincinnati.
All right, and this has nothing. This is nothing against you, and we about to move into your squad. Nothing against you. Nothing against Pittsburgh, etc. Could be a blessing in disguise to get the news that we're gonna talk about off of. But holding your hand up and hoisting your hand and breaking that record, where are they playing?
In Pittsburgh.
Okay. Whew. What's the name of y'all stadium? It's not Three Rivers anymore. What's the name of it? Hinesfield?
Acrisure.
Acrisure. Yeah, I knew I had to change many times. I just wanted to get it right. I'm just letting you know, Miles. This is what you want. You want to break that record against a story franchise. The aesthetic looks better. I'm not saying you shouldn't get it against. I'm not saying you shouldn't get it. I'm not saying you shouldn't get it against Cincinnati. But there was something, not just it being far for Strahan, but it being Green Bay Packers. When you see that film over and over again, it's the Green Bay Packers. It's the equivalent of, it just puts you in another place, even though you're already in that place. But like if you were playing us, you want to break the record.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to break the record against the Cowboys because the film is timeless. When you do that, you want to break it against the Cowboys, Green Bay, Pittsburgh.
No, they're playing in Cleveland. My fault. They're playing in Cleveland.
And you want to do it at home. And I don't think y'all playing in that stadium next year.
He died getting the record at the mistake by the lake.
To everyone, certainly, I really do, because I really do, man. This is my boy, all day long. Tank, my guy. Tank, my guy. He's speaking with his heart right now. He's speaking with a heart. He's speaking with ego.
Mistake by the lake is not going to be the place where their record's broken against.
I hope this ages well for him, because boy, I'm gonna clip. I'm gonna clip him. Miles, somebody at Miles. Miles, he said you're not gonna get it on his watch. Not on Pittsburgh. Nah. Go ahead.
Now, we talked about it before, and I keep bringing it up because it gets closer and closer to being a reality. If he breaks the record this year, does it have, yes, it's an all-time record, and I posted this question, I posed this question in the group also, Facebook group, No Jazz, NOJASS. Does the fact that Cleveland is going to end up with what they could four wins maybe this year, 3? They've got 2 right now. They end up with only 2 wins, 3 wins. Does the fact that he broke, that's their record, and so their record did not contribute to any wins and any team success, does it kind of take some of the luster off of it? At least, I'm not saying you have to go to the Super Bowl and win it in order to set a record, but you did all of that. Did those sacks really mean anything other than personal, for you personally, for your career personally, and for the record books? I'm not saying don't break it and you shouldn't want it, but does it lose something when you set a record like that and you don't even make the playoff?
Absolutely. But that's why you need this. I'm going to my suggestion box again. I'm bringing out gifts. Somebody tag Miles. Let me tell you how to do this. Symbionoid, Diamondoid, whatever the new ice is that they wearing.
Moissanite.
Thank you, Tank. It's not the 4-12. You getting the sack record and being 4-12 or whatever, getting that sack record is not gonna have you with diamonds on. But let me tell you how to look like some moissanite in the club when the lights hit it and they gonna be dancing. Let me tell you how to make it look like some moissanite for you, Miles, because getting that record and you don't have a winning record and you're getting out for the playoffs is diddly to me personally. But let me get you some moissanite. Here how you get that moissanite. You get your sack record at home. We already discussed that. You get your sack record against a storied franchise. You get your sack record in front of. No, you get your sack record, and on film, you are probably with you get it against a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Mm.
If you can get a win, that's cool. You can get a win, that's cool. But also, you get it on the same field against a team, against the guy who probably throughout your career has been questioned or argued as 1A and 1B to you as far as pass rushers in y'all generation, and that's TJ Watt. If you can do that, you won't have diamonds, but you'll definitely be wearing some moissanite. So you gotta do it in that regard, because Tank is absolutely right. It really it doesn't sit. It don't sit in history too tough, with a losing record. I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah, because it's just like you say, "Oh, I set the single game rushing record. I rushed for 312 yards." Yeah, but y'all lost 31-10.
You know what I'd rather
You
you
know,
do? Right, y'all lost 31-10. Like now, Saquon Barkley not getting a rushing record because he wants to save his body to go on and win a Super Bowl, and that makes sense. Like, say for instance, you were in that same position. Oh Lord, Cleveland, where you could be going for the rushing record. I mean, the sack record, and it's the last game. There's a possibility, you might go around somebody and tear a shoulder and something. I don't want to chance it. We just gonna end you with 22.5, but y'all going to the playoffs. It has a different type of feel.
yeah, and we're not saying don't break it or we don't want you to break it, because I like seeing history made. So I would like to see it broken. But I do think and I think if you ask Miles, he would tell you, yeah, I would prefer to be in the playoffs as opposed to having a record.
When someone asked him that, he looked at them like they was crazy. Somebody, with you being possibly breaking the record, does it have any effect on the fact that you all are 4-12 and it's not going to? And he just looked at him like, I want to win, just like anybody else.
Yeah.
We're 4-2. I want to win. So that is the most important thing to him. But the glamour of it at this point, it's just gonna look like a broken sack record, and y'all got a losing record if you do it against Cincinnati. You want to make it look like some more tonight? Do it against Pittsburgh. That's all I'm saying. Do it against Pittsburgh. It's gonna live forever, ever. It's gonna live. Now, this is a great segue, but I'm gonna come back to Pittsburgh. Because you wanted to know which coaches have been naughty and which ones have been nice. I'm gonna answer. Raheem Morris.
Who's mine?
You my boy. You ought to be ashamed of yourself for sitting on Santa's, for even sitting on Santa's knee this year. And Coach Shotty.
I can see the pain in your eye.
I have never I'm gonna put it to you like this, Coach Shotty. You've been naughty. Both of y'all naughty. Tell you like this, Coach Shotty. Iron sharpens iron. Iron sharpens iron. It's just what it is. And you can say what you want about Eberflus, and you and those fans can say what y'all want about, but the defense can't score points, and the offense scoring all the points. That don't need to score 40. Iron sharpens iron. There is no way I'm going to have the number one offense or top 3 ranked offense, and we can stop playing and still be top 3 numerically. We ain't got to play the last 2 games. Some stupid, right? Dak throwing for all them yards. There is no way my quarterback, my 2 wide receivers that's both over 1,000 yards. I think I got 1,000-yard rushing.
Yeah, he's over 1,000.
There is no way when iron sharpens iron and we sitting across from our defense in practice. I don't say time out. I'm about to chop this defense up. What are y'all running? Because if this is what y'all running, I'm about to show you what I'm going to do to you. And this is probably if I see this is what the opposing team going to see. Switch this up. Wide receivers. Hey, man, you know why I'm beating you like this in practice? How about you try this? How about you guard me like this? Because I'm one of the best receivers in the league. But if I'm one of the best receivers in the league, I'm giving it to them just like I'm giving it to you. So this may help you tactically by guarding me. So when you say when you say you can't blame can't blame the offense, yes, the fuck you can. Because who am I as a team? Who am I as a teammate that I'm not trying to make you better, which will eventually make us better on Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
Coach Shoddy, you naughty for not getting in the film room and not putting your C's, your captains and your leaders in the room with their defensive guys saying, hey man, you know what? Can you work on his craft a little bit? Like what are you? Oh yeah, when y'all see this, what do you see? You're not talking to Eberflus. I'm not gonna lie, Eberflus. If I saw that, we gonna chop that up like this. So I know if I see it, they gonna see it. You didn't do that? Oh, you didn't do it. That's why you naughty. That's why you naughty. Point blank, period. That's all to it. Now, hold on. Oh,
that's the dramatic pause, people.
That's a dramatic pause. That's dramatic pause. Hold on. I gotta find my nice.
What you basically saying is
okay.
Shoddy is gonna have a lump of coal in his stocking in the morning.
He don't even deserve that. A coal could turn into a diamond. I don't want him. I don't want him to have that. But my nice coaches, McVay, you've been nice, and Mike McDonald or Mac McDonald, you've been nice. You've been nice. You've been getting them boys up to play. I'm giving you credit. Boy. Y'all been nice. Go ahead, Tank.
My naughty coach has got to be Aaron Glenn. You were an outstanding defensive back when you were playing. How in the Hades are we two games away from the season being over and your defense doesn't have a single damn interception? You can fall into an interception. They have no interceptions this whole season.
Aaron Glenn played DB, right?
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't even sound right.
A Pro Bowl DB. A good DB. How can your defense not have a single interception? You know how, well, I guess you do know how bad you have to be in order to have that because you live in it. I mean, that's one of those stats that shouldn't even be a stat because somebody's going to fall into one. Somebody's going to get one gifted to them just like this. Somebody's going to get a Larry Brown special, and they haven't been able to do that. So, yeah, and also you've been naughty because, man, I know you. That's where you played. That's who drafted you, but you knew better than to take that job. That place is where quarterbacks and coaches, they go to die. The careers go to die. That's why Salah is glad to be back in San Francisco after they got rid of him in New York. Just, I'm sure Sauce, in spite of things going downhill since he left, I'm sure Sauce was glad to get the heck up out of New York, even though it was Indianapolis. I'm sure he's glad to be there instead of stuck in. Yeah, you should have taken that job. Nor should your defense be so bad that they can't pick off a single pass. So yeah, you've been naughty. Now who's been nice? And this man, until he wins something, he's gonna wear this albatross around his neck. I have to give it to you, Shanahan. You've been nice this year. You've been nice with the injuries.
But I had you had him. Yeah, Shanahan been nice.
With all of those injuries that Frisco has had, the reclamation project that you got with Matt Jones, and now you got him poised to get paid next year. And now you're back to Brock Purdy as your starter, and he's been doing his job. And the fact people were saying, well, I think they overpaid Purdy. But look at Jones. That is not just the Shanahan system. That is Shanahan's coaching. And losing all the defensive players you lost, losing Fred Warner, losing other folks, your defense is still hellacious. Your offense is still producing. And you have kept Christian McCaffrey healthy this year. In spite of his 392 touches so far, you've kept him healthy. You got a role wide receiver that y'all paid all this money to, who decides after he gets his money that he basically quit on the team and want to get traded. And your passing game had missed a beat. So yeah, Shanahan has been nice this year. So yeah, that's my
totally
naughty and
agree.
that's my nice.
That's your naughty and that's your nice. Now, big story.
Big,
And
huge, humongous.
and it shouldn't be the big story, but it is, and it's gonna lead us out of this thing. DK, tell him what DK Metcalf did, and tell him how many games he got suspended.
Metcalf has been suspended for 2 games at a cost of $555,000, and he has voided, or they could void $45 million of guaranteed money from his contract for conduct detrimental to the team because of that incident. Now he can make that $45 million back in incentives and production and all of that. So it's not like he can't get it. And they also have the ability to say, hey, because DK never been in trouble. He's not one of those diva trouble receivers who's always getting into something. They could say, hey, that's a one-off. We're gonna still honor that $45 million. Now the problem is DK went to the stands. A fan who he says called his mother the C word. And if for those of you who don't know what the C word is, it rhymes with and called him the N word. And we're not talking.
The N word that it rhyme with trigger
And Jigger, yeah. So in the retaliation, he swung. He didn't miss. He in the retaliation, he did the same thing that Jake Paul did. He swung, but he missed. So he missed, and then he got hit with this $500,000, this $500,000 fine.
That landed clean.
Yeah, yeah. So he lost 46. So if everything holds up, he lost $45.5 million on a punch that didn't land. Now, we can't condone that kind of language and calling somebody that because you shouldn't. But, and I know as a black man that if you use that word of me, I'm gonna swing too. But the difference is he left where he should have been. He shouldn't have been over there in the first place.
Ooh, there we go.
He shouldn't have been over there in the first place. He should have had his behind on the bench, resting up, getting ready for the next series, instead of walking over there. Because that's one of those things where there's a fight going on and and the fight stops. So you leave and it's over and you decide, okay, well, let me go get my gun and I'm going to come back. The fight is over, but I'm going to get my gun. I'm going to come back and I'm going to fire off a round. That's when you're in trouble because it's no longer it's not self-defense. He actually walked himself over into that issue. What he should have done was call security. But the backstory that's interesting is when he was in Seattle last year, the same person called him some words and he filed a complaint to have the guy removed from the stadium. So it's crazy to me that this same guy shows up again and does that. And what's even, sick people. But for me, the fact that you knew that was the same guy who did that before and you go over there. I'm sorry. I'm not giving up $45.5 million. No, because of that. If it's that bad, hey, catch me outside, homie. I take my pads off and you can catch me out by the team bus. And I can dribble you up and down. No, he would. Yeah, other than that, hey, I'm not doing it. But come down to the field. Come on the field, then we can handle it. But I'm not going over to the stands. And I'm sure the league is going to probably do something and tell players you're no longer allowed to go over there to the stands during the game. Yeah, exactly. You can't do that. You can't do that. I'm sure that I wouldn't be surprised for them to pass that. And that means you can't go to the stands and give a kid a jersey. You can't go and sign an autograph. You can't do any of that while the game is going on. That guy was wrong for what he did, but DK was wronger for going over there in the first place.
Shouldn't have been over there.
Yeah, and the fact that now I'm glad that Pittsburgh picked up Thielen Thielen and MVS because and Scotty Miller stepped up last week because we lose DK for 2 games. He lost his appeal, so he's out for 2 games. So that gives us 2 proven receivers that can help us over these next 2 games. So DK needs to approach this.
And tune up for the playoffs that you all always seem to find yourself in the mix of to keep Mike T from being on the naughty list.
Yeah. So he needs to look at this as a time to get, if he's hurt, to get healthy and to get his mind right. But excuse me. But DK was wrong as far as going and doing that. But it's crazy that this same guy has done that before. And the video showed up of the guy saying, "Hey, that was the plan." As far as DK doing that. Now DK is looking at a possible lawsuit if the guy decides he wants to sue. Because, hey, I said this, but you swung at me, but he didn't. He swung, but he didn't hit him. So maybe that. Hopefully, it doesn't come to litigation. DK, you gotta be smarter than that. You can't do that. Don't. I can do it and go and find another job. I'm not gonna want to. I'm gonna hate that business, but you gave up $45.5 million. Potentially $45.5 million.
It's a dummy in the chat and in the comments like, why you all in that man pocket? That man ain't earned $45 million. You know how they talk.
Ask DK or ask anybody else how they feel if they lose $45 million. Even a billionaire, they might say, well, it ain't a lot, but a billionaire is not going to be happy about losing $45 million either. $45 million is $45 million.
People confuse. You might not miss it, but you lost it.
Yeah.
That's a difference.
Yeah, and the fact is, DK hasn't made that kind of money
ever.
Yeah, to be, it ain't for $45 million. I'm sure that $500,000 hurt.
He's not getting endorsements that my Reebok deal, or I'll do a movie this week, or that track test I did, I'll be okay. Nah. Yeah, and it's not about the money as much as it is you should have been over there.
You hurt your team. Yeah, and you hurt your team. Heaven forbid if we lose to Cleveland this week because the passing game is underwhelming. It's like, dang, man, DK, if you had been in there, hey, there was some plays that you would have made that these other guys can't make.
If you don't, exactly, it's going to be an area where we miss DK in that moment. You may have some, and that's what you don't want. And what you don't want, especially against division rivals.
Exactly. And it's back-to-back division rivals.
Hey, a three and out, you all might not have had. What you on the field could be the difference in a game,
Yeah, and
your route running ability might give them something extra to send an extra pass rusher to free up Miles to get in.
Yeah, and now with him out, Arthur Smith might revert back to doing that Pop Warner offense after 3 weeks of playing the NFL, putting out the NFL offense. So yeah, man, it's bad. You don't want to hurt your team going in, period, but you definitely don't want to do it on the playoff push.
Absolutely. Well, at any rate, and I'm not going to do it this week. I'm just going to announce that there won't be a twin from me. It'll just be in the. What about you, Tank?
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember his name now.
Well, don't worry about it.
It's the backup quarterback, but yeah, but.
So here's what's going on, because here's the situation. The stores are now closing. The people are like, hey man, we got families too. Can you please find your last items and bring them to the counter? That's what 7:30 to 8:30 on December 24th is all about. We want to get home and be with our family. We want to start cooking. So, for our last words, we're going to let them give these people your final words as we close out.
I just want to say I'm happy with what the Steelers are doing the past few weeks. I'm happy with Mike Tomlin, with what he's doing. And it looks like the plan is all coming together. They look like a professional team. They're doing it with guys that being out. Tomlin is showing once again why he is a very good coach. Arthur Smith he's looked like an NFL caliber offensive coordinator, and hopefully if things go right, because I'm still not a Smith fan, hopefully if things go right, he gets offered a head coaching job somewhere
and get
and
out
we
of
can
there.
get rid of him without firing him. But yeah, but other than that, hey, enjoy your holiday tomorrow. Enjoy your Christmas. Merry Christmas to all y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in, not just today, but this year, because you all could have done a whole lot of other things. You could have been watching and listening to a lot of other things, but instead you chosen to spend it with little old us, and we appreciate it. And we appreciate it, and we look at you all as being our gift.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to Tank and his family this holiday day weekend. Jesus. Now, yeah, right. For my final words, I'm gonna say this. It had to be, we'll say, if it did come on week to week, somewhere around February 15th, 1974, those born around that era, you got to be pushing at least 50. Those before that, you're in the 60s and your 70s. But I'm just going to say estimated date. That was the day that they aired episode 2, season 1 of Good Times. And for those of you who don't remember season 1, episode 2 of Good Times, that was an episode where Michael brought in a picture of the Black Jesus.
Ned the Wino.
Ned the Wino. And the discussion of the Black Jesus is not a Michael Jordan. It's not Jesus Shuttlesworth. It's not the guy that Jake Shuttlesworth named him after. I forgot who it was that was on the court. Not him. We're talking about Black Jesus. We're talking about biblically, his skin was of bronze, his hair was of wool. 4, right? Now, what I'm getting at is this. In 1974, there was a lot of resistance, even in the Black community, because a lot of Black people had Caesar's Genario, whatever his name was, up in their church, and they looked at the white Jesus, right? Was it Ernie Banks? Not Ernie Banks, but I forgot his name. I gotta look up his name. Who painted that photo? But it's not about him. I just want people to understand that there was brown and black paint before that photo. Norman Lear, shout out to Norman Lear and Rob Reiner, all of that, falling into place with that. He spawned Rob. But there was black and brown paint before that photo, right? So someone had already, years prior to that, painted Jesus black. And a lot of people painted Jesus black in their mind. And this is not, being Santa Claus is not a Santa Claus is black moment. This is still about Jesus is black. But there was a lot of resistance in that moment from blacks themselves because the image was something that they weren't used to. And most of it was, is this image something we could even celebrate? Is this image something we might not get in trouble about celebrating? So that's what the resistance was. White America was like, okay. And then white America said, they didn't even say, well, okay, since biblically it does look like Jesus, and from the area he was in located, it does look like Jesus could have been black. And this has nothing to do with the letter J being invented and Christianity coming out. We're not talking about, we're just talking about white Jesus, black Jesus. But the white people still didn't even say Jesus is black. The white people said Jesus can be whatever color you want him to be, right? My thing about saying all that is this. I think we as black people stayed on in 1974. It is now 2025, 50 some odd years, right? I think we stayed on black Jesus too long. We stayed on that. Like, it took us a long time to get over that fact, and now we're arguing that fact and all of that stuff, right? We stayed on it too long. Because I believe the day after, I believe February 9th, somebody should have said, okay, Jesus is black, cool. But Jesus is also energy. See, that's the metaphor. Whatever you wanted to pick them up, or whatever whatever depiction you want to give him that makes you get to that level that you want to get on to believe everything you want to believe. You're going to win the lotto tonight and do all the things you're going to do. It's the energy that changes the moment. And I watch people, the Kirk guy and the people who leave their dorm rooms and they see a guy over there who's done all he needs to do to make sure he can go on that campus and speak his mind and do all those things and promote whatever ideology that he wants on his platform on that college campus. And I see him put up a microphone, and yes, they love that debate. They love that resistance because they want you to come to them and give them something that they've been practicing. They've practiced verbally jousting with you to get back at you, to put that on their platform. And maybe even you were trying to put that on your platform to give them more energy. So DK, that was 50 years ago. I'm not saying you shouldn't be called out of your name. I'm not saying your mama should be called out of your name. But the energy of the moment, with you being the main name and your team being the main team and the cameras being focused on you, you gave that man something he didn't deserve.
Mm-hmm.
And that was your energy. And when you gave your energy to that man in that moment, that's when you lost. I don't know what it is in the human makeup that makes us want to go over there to people who are in their own motion, doing what they're doing, and give them that energy. Because last I checked, just like they said, if a tree falls in the forest and no one is around, doesn't make a sound. But you want to go over there to that noise. Yes, hindsight 2020. Yes, it's hard. No, you don't want to be called that. But if you're still triggered by that, and you done seen how deceptive it can be to trigger somebody by that, and you let them get to you, you're never gonna allow it to diminish. And that's a hard sacrifice to let that ride, to let it die. But every time you go over there and do something about it, it rises again. You can't let that person steal your joy, man. You can't let that person steal your energy. You can't let that person steal your 45 million. Because, like I said, they had black paint long time ago. Jesus could have been whatever you wanted him to be. But the truth of the matter is, he is of no color. He's energy. And you can't let nobody take your black Jesus away from you. This has been the No Jazz Show. NOJASSSHOW. Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, DUPONTNIVEK. No, DUPONTZNIVEK. On that, No Jazz Show. We're on Twitch at No Jazz Show. We're on Instagram at The No Jazz Show. We are also on X at No Jazz Show. NOJASSSHOW. Find us on live in the locker room. We want to thank you all for coming out. I want to wish everyone a happy and safe holidays. Those of you who are traveling, we pray for traveling graces. We pray for everyone that's going in and out of these stores shopping. Please have respect for the people who are working in these stores, patronizing you. We know it's a tense moment. We know it's tense out there parking, but have respect for them, and please allow those people to get home to their families so they can celebrate these holidays and this time with their families for this long day that will be December 25th in a few hours, and Christmas. To the kids, hug your daddy, hug your mama, give your daddy a thumbs up, because your mama probably gonna say she did it all. But those are the real Santa Clauses. Keep it 100. Don't be like that. For those people, and I know I'm just saying things for those people who, because everybody's been there. We've lived enough life to where you've had that great Christmas and you've had that Christmas that was not so great. Please understand that the spirit of Christmas is also the spirit of life. So if you wake up tomorrow morning and you woke up today, please understand that that is the true gift. Life. We are in a holiday situation to where a man that gave his life, we're celebrating his birthday, but we're the ones getting the gift. So understand that, that everlasting life, that sacrifice that he made, biblically and in the story For those of you who believe in it or not, it's the season. It's what it is. You too, be happy with life that you have it. Shout out to all the teams that are playing tomorrow, that they're safe. No injury. Shout out to all the teams that can't be with their families until later on. All those teams, players. I think the NBA plays on Christmas Day too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, some teams that play. Shout out to all the college kids who are going to be only spending half the time with their family because you got to go to practice and you got to focus on the game. You can't eat, with the business of football and sports remains what it is. So shout out to you all for the sacrifices that you all make to entertain us as fans, to give us something to argue and talk about after one or two shots of liquor. All of these things that allow us to live as families. We have 5 more days left in this year. Please call that special someone. Call that unspecial someone. Apologize to that someone. Forgive. Do all those things that this season brings about that allows us to cherish the time that we have. And for a lot of people, I understand that every day to a lot of people is a holiday, and you don't want to just recognize one day. However, when the spirits are vibrating this high together, don't be the one that diminishes it, with all of your woke thoughts. If these people want to take that sugar pill and think it heals them, don't take that sugar pill from them. That's all I'm saying, man. Everybody just be on one accord and be happy. Shout out to your parents, your mom. Hi, Mom. Oh, my second grade teacher, who I forgot one time, Miss Hare. Shout out to you. I have been mentioning to mention your name and all of that. So that's what I'm saying. Happy holidays to everybody. And you want a happy holidays to anybody, Tank, before you salute them?
Happy holidays, my family. Happy holidays to my kids, Aaron and Janae. Janae texted me while we were on and told me she was watching. So I appreciate the support. Hey, enjoy your time tomorrow. And Pittsburgh, let's get the job done on Sunday. Make it another good week for your boy.
Absolutely.
And we'll catch y'all next Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Absolutely. And on that note, we are out of here. Salute these people, Tank. You just watched another episode of No Jazz. Follow us on YouTube at No Jazz Show. And make sure you hit us up on Twitter at No Jazz Show. Make sure you hit us up on Instagram at noj.a.s.s. Follow us on Facebook, on our Facebook page at No Jazz Show. All right? See you soon.